With Season 2 of Go Battle League coming to a close, Pokemon Go has released an announcement regarding Season 3. Season 3 will include a Premier Cup for the Ultra League. There's also going to be a Flying type only format that they hinted at, and along with that, there are buffs and nerfs to already existing moves. And one Pokemon in particular is looking hot under that debuff laser there. So in this video, I'm going to go over the announcement with you, unpack some of the important details here, and let you know which Pokemon are likely going to benefit a lot from these buffs, and which Pokemon aren't going to appreciate these nerfs. Let's get into it. So here we have the official announcement for Season 3. If you want to check it out, pick over some details, link in the description to it. As far as stuff that you're going to want to know for Season 3, is, well, one, they're going to be adding some more cups. So they had the Premier Cup and Master League in Season 2. It sounds like they're going to be maintaining that, and they're also going to be bringing a Ultra League Premier Cup. Now, is this necessary? Is it going to be a better format? I can't really say right now. Ultra League legendaries are optional, and you don't need legendaries in order to win in the Ultra League. A lot of non-legendary teams do really well, and a lot of these non-legendary teams work really well because other people are using these super common legendary Pokemon. So a non-legendary iteration, I don't know, is it going to be a more restricted format, or is it going to be more open? We'll have to see. Unlike the Master League, of course, where if you don't have a Dialga, a Melmetal, and or a Fire Punch Groudon, you're kinda SOL, right? They're also bringing in a Flying Cup. Now, they didn't specify if this is Great League or Ultra League or Master League or all three of them, but it's going to be a format where only Flying type Pokemon are allowed. Now, this is kind of absurd because, like, it's going to be Aerodactyl, Zapdos, the meta. So we'll have to see how that actually unfolds, what league it is. But yeah, you might want to keep your eyes peeled for some good Aerodactyls for PvP, because that thing is going to dominate for sure. And another update is based on trainer feedback. They are removing the Battle Until You Win feature, which is amazing because I hate it. People that like to tank their rank are going to cry a little bit because now they can't get 75 losses per day to get their 5x multiplier or whatever. But for us normal players, this is lovely because now we're not going to bleed out every time we take a loss of 5 or greater. They've also changed some of the guaranteed rewards as far as the spawns go, so you can read over that if you'd like. They're also changing the avatar pose and the avatar item for reaching rank 10. So if you didn't get Steven Stone in Season 2 here, you might not be getting Steven Stone ever. I'm curious to find out what the new avatar item is. Could be pretty hot. Now, for the real reason why we're here. The attacks that have been updated for trainer battles. Now, I want to specify right now to you guys, these moves have not been updated in the game yet. They have not been changed in the game yet. It is very likely that these changes are going to happen once Season 3 begins. So don't freak out right now. These changes have not been implemented at this time. When Season 3 starts, they'll very likely be in then. But it's also not guaranteed that they'll be in right away, so we'll have to see what they do. At any rate, the updates. Onto it. First up, we have Drill Peck. This Flying type charge attack now deals more damage. Now, right now, the attack is 60 damage for 40 energy. Sky Attack and Fly are clones of each other, and they're 80 damage for 45 energy. Based off of that, I'm going to go on an assumption here and say that Drill Peck is going to be 70 for 40. So a small baby cut below Sky Attack, so close that the reduced energy cost might make it better than Sky Attack, but definitely not going to be better than Sky Attack. Like, I definitely don't expect that to happen. By the way, expectations. Yeah, we don't have the hard numbers yet, but we can guess, like this, what it's very likely going to look like. Now, as far as Pokemon that are affected by this Drill Peck buff, basically none of them. Nothing good has Drill Peck except for Zapdos and Shadow Zapdos. And as far as the Drill Peck buff goes, it's going to be kind of interesting because if it is 70 for 40, like I'm expecting, it'll have higher DPE, damage per energy, than Thunderbolt and Thunder, which means it'll become Zapdos' more like primary poking attack to actually take stuff down. So that's kind of interesting to think about conceptually. Now, as far as their individual matchups are concerned, this mostly clears up a lot of their grass type matchups. I don't have it memorized off the top of my head which ones they are, but it's like Meganium and Venusaur had the opportunity to beat Zapdos in both the Great League and in the Ultra League, depending on if it was Shadow or not. And with the Drill Peck buff, it'll be able to take them out more consistently where it wasn't doing so hot before. So, you know, those Frenzy plants, they're crazy, they hit really hard. Drill Peck ain't hitting hard enough. Well, now Drill Peck is hitting hard enough. So landing that Sludge Bomb on the Venusaur might not actually happen now because Zapdos took you out with the Drill Peck. Interesting thing to note with normal Zapdos in the Ultra League specifically, with this Drill Peck buff, it'll actually be able to overcome Swampert in the 2-shield situation, and it'll also be able to defeat Giratina altered form when it's at a shield advantage. So those are things that it couldn't do before, and now it can. Overall, I'd have to say Shadow Zapdos is still looking like the better Zapdos as far as Ultra League is concerned at least, so you know, your mileage may vary if you go with the normal Zapdos, but Drill Peck, definitely all-around good buff for the Zapdos. Next on the list is Brave Bird. This flying type charge attack now deals more damage. It also severely lowers the user's attack. Now this was corrected on Niantic's Twitter. It actually lowers defense by 3 stages. I honestly don't know how big they're going to make Brave Bird. Right now it's 55 energy cost, so when I first read this I assumed it was going to be 150 base power, so it's like Overheat but for birds. But it's going to be decreasing your defense instead, so I don't know precisely how they're going to mastermind this. As far as Brave Bird Pokemon go, the vast majority of them suck. So I can't imagine Brave Bird is going to make any of them that much better, especially since it lowers the user's defense by 3 stages. So it's like you use that, you're basically done after that. The one Pokemon that might slightly appreciate it is going to be Skarmory. With it, it can now take down Azumarill in the 2-shield situation. And playing with those specific sims a bit, it doesn't seem like that insane to have it happen. Like, it's not like you have to bait perfectly. Like, as long as you're smart about the matchup, you could make it work. And that's like the main big thing that I was seeing with Brave Bird on Skarmory, assuming it's 150 base power and it lowers your defense by 3 stages. Now if you're sitting at home thinking, Ryan Swag, how do you know about Brave Bird and Drill Peck and this actually happening if it's not in the game yet, it's not on PvPoke? How do you know? Well, I downloaded my own PvPoke and I edited the Game Master on it. I mean, PvPoke is open source, so just about anybody can do that if they know how. And yeah, so I can get these predictive stats in with like laser point accuracy ahead of time there. For example, if you know about the Mega Evolution update on PvPoke, where you can go in the settings and use the Mega Pokemon Game Master, yeah, I made that Game Master, or at least I edited PvPoke's Game Master to have those stats, and then I gave it to PvPoke so you could share it with the world. So yeah, that's basically how it's done. Now, Infestation. Infestation is a bug-type fast move. It now generates energy more quickly. So you can see here, Infestation is a 2-turn fast move. It has 6 power and 11 energy. So it's on the level of Charge Beam, Hex. It's not that good, right? If it generates more energy, so it gets to be 12 base, then that means it'll have 4 energy gains for the 2 base damage. So 2 for 4 puts it on the level of Powder Snow. Now, Powder Snow is a move that is also getting buffed in this update to have more power. So I'm kind of under the base assumption here that Infestation might be taken to even greater heights, and it might be a 6 for 13 2-turn move. And if it were to be that, then it would be better than Bullet Seed and Snarl. So it'd be a slightly higher damaging Bullet Seed and Snarl, which could be interesting. So it'd be like a 2 for 4.33. Whatever does happen with Infestation, though, if it's 12 base energy or 13 base energy, it doesn't seem like anything's really benefiting from it. If you look at all the Pokemon that learn Infestation, none of them really want to use it right now. They already have preferred attacks over it. So Muck and Shadow Muck could potentially benefit from Infestation's buff in a niche way, but nothing's standing out in that regard. Garbodor could also improve greatly with Infestation, depending on the energy gains, because it has access to Body Slam. So we're all kind of hoping and praying right now that this does make it for Garbodor, but nothing I'm seeing on my end is making Garbodor look all that hot. It needs a better charge move to pair with Body Slam, in my opinion, but hey, this could work well for something someday. Glad it's getting buffed. Now, next move on this list is going to be Hex, and Hex has the same stats as Infestation, so whatever buff Infestation gets, Hex is very likely also going to receive. Now, just about everything that has Hex is going to like this update, and I haven't looked at every single Pokemon that has Hex individually to see how they will benefit from a 13 Hex or a 12 Hex. Right now this is 11 Hex. I'm talking about the base energy. So when the update actually rolls out, I'll do a more in-depth analysis on Hex and the Pokemon that get it. But among all the Hex having Pokemon, one thing stood out in a massive way, like insano massive way, and that is Drifblim. Here we have our current Drifblim with the 11 Hex on PvPoke, and you can see in the one shield scenario, it is getting 18 wins and 23 losses. I mean, Drifblim is a viable, anti-meta, interesting type Pokemon, but 18 wins, 23 losses, it sounds a little flaky, right? Well, if you crank up that Hex to 13 base energy, Shazam! Here you can see local host. This is my own personal PvPoke. And with a 13 base energy Hex, we are getting 28 wins to 13 losses, which is insane. Not only is Drifblim already this niche, anti-meta, already pretty good Pokemon, with that extra energy, it kind of goes to the next level. The next level. Now, big reason for this is because the Icy Wind has 45 energy cost. So 11 times 4 is 44. That ain't no Icy Wind. But if you take 12 or 13, multiply that by 4, it sounds like you're going to be getting an Icy Wind one move faster than before. And if that doesn't sound like a lot, here you go. Here's a lot. That's 28. Big number right there. Yeah, because if you can Icy Wind before they throw their first charge move, that's like insane. That's massive. If you can throw 2 Icy Winds before they land a charge move, that's also massive. So clearly massive enough to put Drifblim on the next level. Now if you are curious, I did also put in Hex 12. So that base Hex there is Hex 13. If I sim out Hex 12, you can see it does decrease to 23 wins. That's not that big of a decrease though. Yes, you dropped 5 wins, but you're still winning more than you're losing versus the presumed Great League meta. And you're still getting to that Icy Wind way faster than you would be otherwise. I mean, 1 attack, 2 turns, that's insane. That's huge. So if it's 12 Hex or 13 Hex, Drifblim is very clearly going to be a hot item in the Great League. By the way, Ultra League Drifblim is also a thing, and I'm not going to go over all the sims with you right here like I did with this, but Ultra League Drifblim is going to be pretty massive, especially if you consider a Ultra League that doesn't have legendaries. Big competitor for the Icy Wind role is that Articuno, legendary Pokemon. And in the mirror match, who's going to win? It's Articuno. So while Drifblim is like kind of like a budget Articuno, right? It does have some unique wins over Articuno, depending on if it's Hex 12 or Hex 13. We'll have to see precisely how that rivalry ends up. But in a Premier Cup Ultra League, yeah, Drifblim's going to reign supreme, for sure. Like, this thing's going to be monstrous. So, if you don't have a Hundo Drifblim already, you might want to try to get one. Get that lucky trade in or something, because, yeah. I'm probably dedicating, like, half this video to talking about how crazy Drifblim's going to be, but you guys are really going to want to get this one, for real. With that out of the way, Powder Snow. Powder Snow is going to be dealing more damage. So you can see right now it has a base power of 4, so its damage per turn is 2, so it's a 2 for 4 attack. So if it gets 1 more base power, then it'll be on the level of Vine Whip, a 2.5 for 4, but I kind of know how Pokemon Go thinks a little bit, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be a Shadow Claw clone. So they're going to give it 2 more base power, so then it's 3 for 4. Now, as we already know, Shadow Claw is one of the best fast moves in PvP. Its damage is really nice, its energy gains also really nice. So if this happens, Powder Snow Pokemon are going to be taken to a new level here. Now, I did run the sims on Mamoswine with the with the Shadow Snow, if I call it that, and it doesn't really pick up any new wins in the Master League, which is unfortunate. So I'm sorry, Mamoswine, it's just not enough. Maybe in those little in-between matchups, it could get a little bit more farm action than before, but it doesn't seem to be breaking the meta as far as Mamoswine is concerned. Really nice pickup though for the Alolan Sandslash in the Ultra League. So I already like it in the Ultra League because it's got that anti-meta flavor going on with that higher base damage on the Shadow Snow there. Yeah, no, it definitely picks up a lot more wins, gets more consistent wins, and can actually do some farm action, which is pretty massive for Alolan Sandslash. So we'll have to see where all the chips fall in terms of these buffs and updates go to really say if like Alolan Sandslash is still a meme or if it's actually meta in the Ultra League. But I think this is a really good step forward to it becoming meta in the Ultra League. You know how we had that whole voting community day thing and it didn't get Shadow Claw? I guess Alolan Sandslash might still be getting Shadow Claw through Shadow Snow. And then of course another Pokemon that benefits both from the Shadow Snow and from the Hex buff is Frostlass. Yeah, Frostlass. And then of course Frostlass is going to be like a champion shield, of course, in the Drifblim meta, because, you know, Ice Ghost can actually take down the Drifblim, so I expect Frostlass to get pretty good. Either way you cut it with the Hex and the Shadow Snow here, because this will give it more consistent wins against Grass-type Pokemon. The way it stands right now in a perfectly even matchup, Frostlass getting hit by that Frenzy Plant will take it out. If it gets increased damage or increased energy gains, then it could take them out, making it more of a consistent of a grass counter, which is pretty nice. And for those of you out there that haven't done your Catacomb Cup yet, you Sylph Leaguers out there, yeah, Shadow Snow or the Hex buff is going to be really good for Frostlass. So if you haven't waited it already, you might want to hold out for that buff there for the Frostlass. Now, aside from those shoutouts specifically, just about everything that's already kind of good with Powder Snow is going to benefit a lot from the Powder Snow buff. And in the Great League specifically, like Altaria and Tropius are going to have a lot to worry about with these Powdered Snow Pokemon. Before, they really couldn't chonk them down with Powdered Snow. Like, it was like, this hurts, but it doesn't hurt that much. Well, if it's Shadow Snow, it's going to hurt them a lot. And it's going to make it really hard to beat Altaria or Tropius in the Season 3 Go Battle League, for sure. Then next up we have Blizzard. Blizzard is getting buffed. This Ice-type charge attack now deals more damage. Now, interesting parallel to this is Focus Blast. This Fighting-type charge attack now deals less damage. Both of these attacks are 75 energy, right? This one is 130 base damage. This one is 150 base damage. I think they're going to be 140 base damage. I think they're going to be clones of each other. Now, as far as the Blizzard buff is concerned, I haven't really seen any Pokemon benefit heavily from it. The one meme kind of thing I saw was a Wishcash versus Drifblim. With the increased damage of the heavier Blizzard here, it's able to, you know, land the Blizzard and KO with the Mud Bomb on the Drifblim in the one shield situation, the buff to Drifblim, mind you. And if it didn't have that, then it would just be missing the KO, depending on IVs, but very likely missing the KO. So the Blizzard buff, just enough to keep Wishcash relevant, I guess. So, I don't know, that was hilarious to me. But aside from that, I didn't really see anything else, so yeah. As far as the Focus Blast nerf is concerned, I don't really think this nerfed a whole lot of anything. This doesn't nerf anything as far as Registeel is concerned, because Registeel isn't just barely getting KOs off the Focus Blast. Like, it's usually a ton of overkill when it lands the Focus Blast, so it hasn't changed its matchups at all. The only matchups I could think of, theoretically, I didn't actually look at these, would probably be Focus Blast Gengar in the Ultra League, since it is, like, kind of swagging on some things by the skin of its teeth with that neutral damage. So I don't know, Niantic trying to nerf Registeel might actually be nerfing Gengar instead. And if you're wondering about Ampharos in the Ultra League, does this ruin Focus Blast Ampharos? No, of course not. I mean, Ampharos is using Thunder anyways these days, so, like, doesn't even care about Focus Blast. And then sandwiched between these two attacks, we have Flash Cannon, which is now going to have its energy increased. Which is also, like, another hilarious way of Niantic trying to indirectly nerf Registeel, but, like, kind of nerfing everything else that has Flash Cannon inadvertently. As far as Registeel is concerned, this does make Flash Cannon slow enough now where a normal Frostlass, not the souped up Hex Omega Frostlass, but even a normal Frostlass can now defeat it if Frostlass has a shield advantage, so Hail Mary kind of situation. But now Flash Cannon is just too slow. It's also too slow to the point where a 1 shield Altaria versus a 0 shield Registeel can also overcome it. So this doesn't sound like the biggest deal in the world for Registeel, but it does shake the throne a little bit, especially since we have Galar Stunfisk out right now. Same idea, arguably better than the Registeel. Registeel now getting hit with these nerfs. We'll have to see. I don't know, I just think it's kind of goofy that they're going to these lengths to try to nerf Registeel, when what they really should do is nerf Lock-On again, make it at least a 4 energy per turn attack, so it's like in line with the other best energy gaining attacks right now, but that's not my business, I guess. Nerf Ferrothorn for no good reason. Sounds like a way better option. And finally, Moonblast. This fairy type charge attack now has a decreased chance of lowering your opponent's attack. So Cresselia just swagging around with that Moonblast, it has a decreased chance of lowering your attack now. Now what this actually means is that your own personal Cresselia will still never get the debuff on the opponent, and your opponent's Cresselia will still always get the debuff on you. So nothing truly has changed here from like a perceptual standpoint, if you know what I'm saying. One big question I do have though, especially with the Hex buff making Drifblim insane, is when are we going to get that Icy Wind nerf? Because right now, Icy Wind, 100% chance to debuff your opponent's attack by one stage, really good damage, decent energy cost. It's way too freaking good. It's always been way too freaking good. And will Hex be enough to push it over the edge and make Niantic address it? All I'm saying is if you haven't burned Elite TMs on Dugong or Seaking for the Icy Wind already, you might want to save your TMs and hold off on that, because I definitely smell a nerf coming our way here. Like, it's too good. And now Drifblim is going to be insane. So, watch out. Icy Wind. They're also buffing these attacks for raids, and I'm going to wait until we get official numbers before I monkey around with this. The Brave Bird might be an interesting thing. The Hex definitely will be cool for some Pokemon. Drill Peck, whatever. We'll have to see what actually happens. And then finally, we have 4 move pool expansions, right? So first up, we got Braviary with Close Combat. Have you guys ever heard of Staraptor? I don't know. It does the same exact thing, slightly different move pool, whatever. Neither of these Pokemon are going to be good in PvP. If they are, it's going to be like a meme, so who cares? Next up, we got Abomasnow with the Ice-type Weather Ball. Now, this is already really insane. You guys remember Cherim with the Fireball, right? So the Grass type that slays other Grass-type Pokemon. Same idea with the Abomasnow with the Ice Ball here. And then on top of that, it has Powdered Snow. Powdered Snow has good energy gains, and now it's going to deal decent damage too. Abomasnow could very quickly become an anti-meta, big Ice and Grass-type threat in the Great League, because as it stands right now, it beats Azumarill, and it is very threatening to the Altaria, with more damage from the Powder Snow and with the Ice Ball. Altaria is going to have a lot to look out for here, including Tropius. So Abomasnow may take over their roles entirely, which is pretty cool. Another cool benefit to Abomasnow as a Grass-type attacker is it doesn't use Solar Beam. So Cherim, you have that praying to God, Hail Mary, Solar Beam there. Abomasnow's got Energy Ball. It can actually do Grass-type stuff consistently with its energy-gaining attacks. So Abomasnow is going to be pretty hot. I'm pretty excited for it. I already have like the rank 1 maxed out by the luck of the swag there. So next up, we have Pelipper with the Water Ball. So yeah, Water type Weather Ball here, which is goofy because if you actually check the sims on PvPoke, you can actually run these yourselves at home right now if you want to. You just have to add custom move that's actually in PvPoke. It picks up a ton of impressive wins. Yeah, most notably, it can beat the Azumarill, it can beat the Registeel, and it can beat Registeel's successor, the Galar Stunfisk. Now, when it comes to the Steel-type Pokemon there, that's straight Weather Ball, of course. When it comes to Azumarill, you have to land the Hurricane, which is insane because, you know, they might shield it, but you might throw a Water Ball instead and they might shield that. Hey, so a risky Pokemon. Overall, I'd have to say my assessment right now is Pelipper is kind of a meme. I don't think it'll be a Great League Pokemon, but it is one that you will run into and it could possibly beat you, so be wary of Pelipper. Similar to the Moonblast debuffs, Pelipper, your Hurricanes will always be shielded, and you will never shield your opponent's Hurricanes. It's always going to be a Weather Ball when you use a shield. Am I right? What is John Hankey released upon the world with this thing? And then finally, we got Empoleon with Drill Peck. So Empoleon's kind of like an interesting anti-meta type Pokemon in the Ultra League because it can just hammer stuff down with the water type damage, benefiting from its resistances. So Drill Peck versus Flash Cannon versus Blizzard. Well, Flash Cannon's gotten nerfed, so that thing's kind of out. Blizzard is still like the Hail Mary attack that might surprise your opponent, but if you are up against something that resists water specifically, I think Drill Peck will be nice. The results I can see right now is Flash Cannon isn't necessarily better, Drill Peck isn't necessarily better, but given the fact that Drill Peck has a lower energy cost, it's probably going to be more deployable, especially in those in-between situations. So I'd say overall slight buff for the Empoleon here. Nothing too crazy, but nothing unappreciated, for sure. And that about does it as far as everything I've looked at right now as far as the update is concerned. Of course, there are tons of Powder Snow Pokemon and tons of Hex Pokemon that could potentially benefit, but nothing stood out as big as, Frostlass and Drifblim did. So I'll cover the full spectrum once we actually get the real numbers. But for right now, main thing that you really need to know from this video, the big takeaway, big picture item, is Drifblim. Great League, Ultra League, Drifblim, it's going to be insane. You're going to want to get it. Try to get that hundo for the Ultra League. It's going to be madness come Season 3 here. If you got any questions on this content, comment below. Let me know what's up, and I'll be happy to help you out. And if you enjoyed this content and you want to see more like it, maybe you want to know what the real stats are when they come out and where things actually fall, like I just said, well, subscribe. SwagTips. I'd also like to give a special shout out to these patron supporters. If you want to support the Swagman on Patreon, link in the description.